Mangwana Nimalelepo Vukenjani Kreklasvanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashton Berry and Glenora Shipura. How are you, Glenn?
I'm doing very well. I'm quite excited that Christmas is around the corner.
Absolutely.
What are your Christmas plans?
I'll be with the family as it's supposed to be, I suppose.
I think so. Yeah. Well, some people don't believe in that, but I definitely believe that it's time to. Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to believe in Christmas. You can believe in taking leave and
and resting.
Absolutely.
Now, getting into what you can expect in today's broadcast. Nacala Mayor Advisor placed under house arrest, and South Africa seeks bid for 7,615 megawatts of new power generation. Zimbabwe's cabinet approves deal to sell water to South Africa. A little bit later in the show, we'll be talking to Mike Sichula, who'll be filling us in on the latest news in Zambia. Do stay tuned for these and more news on Africa Good Morning.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
We start our top stories in Zambia. Keeping in mind, we'll also be joined by Mike Sichula as he gives us other stories from the real Africa. Now, in this story, an unidentified female has died after she sustained fatal head injuries in a road traffic accident. 39 others, including the driver, have been admitted to hospital, while 22 others escaped unhurt. The accident happened where the driver of the bus lost control due to excessive speed and the bus overturned in the Chibombo area. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga said the accident happened on December the 14th around 5 a.m. along Great North Road in Chibombo district. He said the involved was Waxon Desani, aged 41, of Chimwemwe Kitwe, who was driving a Zhongtong bus and travelers from South Africa to the north with 61 passengers on board.
Swinging over to Mozambique, the Judicial Court of Nacala has ordered the house arrest and suspension from duties of the mayor of Nacala, Porto, Rual Novinte, and his communications advisor, Arlindo Chisale. The decision comes in response to a request from the Public Prosecutor's Office within the scope of the process in which the current president of the Municipal Council of Nacala, Porto, Rual Novinte, and his head of the Communication and Image Office, Arlindo Chisale, are accused of incitement to collective disobedience in conjunction with public instigation of crime. In addition to Rual Novinte and Arlindo Chisale, it seems 8 other Renamo members are also to be prosecuted, for one of whom an arrest warrant has been issued. This is Mpuauna Auswete Isufo, better known as Mwahikwa. The court does not know his location, but asserts that he is also a member of Renamo.
Now, South Africa on Thursday launched 3 bidding rounds for 7,615 megawatts of new power generation from renewable energy, natural gas, and battery storage. And these are part of efforts to overcome record power outages crippling economic output. The Department of Mineral Resources and Energy said in a statement it had issued 3 requests for proposals for independent power producers to generate 5,000 megawatts of renewable energy, 2,000 megawatts from gas, and 615 from battery storage. South Africa started procuring power from private developers more than a decade ago to supplement struggling state utility Eskom's ailing coal-fired power station fleet. Before Thursday, it had launched 6 renewable energy bidding rounds dominated by wind and solar projects.
In our next story, swinging over to the House of Stone, Cabinet has approved a proposal for the multi-million water treatment plant in Beitbridge to sell water to Mausina in South Africa to improve water resources and cooperation governance between the two countries. Mosina has perennially been dodged by water woes, resulting in the South Africans approaching Zimbabwe for a rescue package. Beitbridge now has a decent water supply. Beitbridge and Mosina towns share a number of cross-cutting challenges that come with their geographical locations next to SADC's largest land border post along one of Africa's biggest trade corridors. Daily, the two councils host close to 15,000 people in transit who are expected to get a number of services. Both towns, which are like identical twins, share challenges with managing pandemics and public health, water, sewer, and road infrastructure, among other amenities. Whatever happens in Mosina in terms of health or social challenges has a spillover effect on Beitbridge and vice versa.
Now, a Senegalese court has ordered the reinstatement of jailed opposition leader Ousmane Sonko on the electoral register, ruling that could pave a way for him to run in a February presidential election, his lawyer Sire Clédor said on Thursday. Sonko has faced multiple court cases over the past 2 years for charges including libel and rape, which he denies. The cases against him have triggered deadly violence in the West African nation. The 49-year-old was cleared of rape in June, but sentenced to a 2-year jail term after a court found him guilty of an offense described in the Penal Code as immoral behavior towards individuals younger than 21. He was arrested in July for insurrection and was struck off the electoral roll, a decision that potentially ruled him out of the February vote. The court in the capital, Dakar, overturned that decision on Thursday, Lay told reporters outside the court.
Now, wrapping up our top stories, Rudy Giuliani has abandoned plans to testify in his defense as his multi-million defamation case enters its final stage. Ex-poll worker Ruby Freeman, 64, and her daughter Wandria Shaya Moss are suing Giuliani over his false claims they played a role in election fraud. The pair testified that they had to flee and feared for their lives. Now he has already been found liable, leaving only the penalties in question. Freeman and Moss are seeking between $15 million and $43 million in damages, which Giuliani, Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, claims he cannot afford.
All right, stay with us as we talk to Mike Sichula after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
All right, so popular Zambian musician Yo Maps is under investigation over the purchase of a Land Cruiser VX vehicle. That's the first of our stories as we talk to Mike Sichula. Mike, Goribanji.
Tirebuino Mulibwanji, Africa, good morning.
Africa, good morning.
Yes, indeed. Like you've likely put it, the Anti-Corruption Commission on 12th December questioned Zambian musician Elton Mulengapupe, known as Yo Maps, in relation to the purchase of the motor vehicle, which is the Land Cruiser. According to their claim, this is an allegation that he said the motor vehicle is a proceed of crime. The commission has since pressed a restriction order on the said motor vehicle pending the conclusion of their investigations. It has been alleged that the motor vehicle was bought by a Lusaka businessman who is a friend to a prominent politician, and it was given to the musician as a gift. So the anti-corruption is expected to give further details, like they have indicated in their letter that they issued yesterday, saying that their investigations are not centered on Yo Maps as an individual, but they are centered on the vehicle that you can see him with there in that picture. So it is something that also Yo Maps, through his manager, released a statement yesterday stating that the vehicle is actually theirs. So we'll see what goes on. Then justly, in the same manner during the 2023 Ngoma Awards. As you can see in the picture there, Yomaps scooped the Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Male Artist of the Year, and he did post his medals on that vehicle, as you can, our viewers can see in the picture. So it will be an interesting case going forward, considering that Yomaf in the time past has been seen with prominent politicians parading in public, well as even at his home. So we'll see whether this case is going to implicate Yomaps or the people that work with Yomaps.
Will do. Please keep us updated in that story. Now, moving on, former Vice President Enoch Kavendile is leading a mission for the SADC Electoral Observation Team to the elections in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Can you expand on this?
Yes, as the Democratic Republic of Congo goes to the polls on 20th December 2023, President Hichilema has appointed former Vice President Enoch Kavindele to be the head of mission for the SADC Electoral Observer Mission to the elections. As you may be aware, President Hichilema is the chairperson of the SADC organ on politics, defense, and security cooperation. So he's done this before now. Almost all the vice presidents that are current and living, the former vice president, have been given a task. We had a former vice president go to Eswatini, Lesotho. Then there was also another vice president who went to Zimbabwe. So this is a style that President Hichilema is providing, where he's giving former Zambian leaders to do something within the region. So the commission, to be headed by Mr. Kapindere, are expected to work with the representatives of the SADC organ troika from the Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of Namibia, as well as SADC Secretariat during the elections that will be held on 20th December 2023.
All right. Now, veterinary authorities are saying that they have contained the anthrax outbreak in the country.
Yes, this was confirmed by Fisheries and Livestock Minister Makozo Chikote, who is optimistic that of lifting the ban on livestock movement, slaughter, and trade from the affected areas before Christmas. As you know, the outbreak of anthrax has affected the beef market within the country. A number of restaurant owners have recorded some losses because of reduced consumption of beef products. So with this development and Christmas around the corner, Mr. Chikote hopes that the country has in the past weeks not recorded any new cases of anthrax since the disease broke out in July in the southern, eastern, and western provinces. He also said that the Gwembe, which was Sinazongwe and Gwembe, which were like the epicenter of the disease, have not recorded any new case, which is something that he is optimistic that come before the 24th of December, the ban can be lifted.
And your last story, the Copper Queen Barbara Banda's boots are among FIFA Museum's latest acquisitions. This sounds like good news. Can you get into this?
Yes, this is good news indeed, because the boots were worn by Barbara when she scored a penalty against Costa Rica at the 2023 World Cup. So the strike by Barbara Banda was the 1,000th goal in the history of FIFA Women's World Cup. So Barbara Banda is amongst nearly 400 objects collected at the FIFA Women's World Cup hosted in New Zealand and Australia. So the FIFA Museum is an ongoing commitment to increasing the representation of women's football within a collection and exhibition. So this news has excited a number of Zambians soccer fans who look to Barbara Banda to lead the Copper Queens to their first WAFCON title come next year. So this is something that she was also commented, saying that she's encouraged that FIFA is able to recognize what she has been doing in the football circles.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike, for bringing us the news stories from Zambia. And Barbara is truly a legend.
Thank you very much. I hope that when you come to pay your lobola, Barbara Banda can be one of the people that we can use to escort you.
I realized I hadn't told you the good news, Mr. Sichula. I don't know if you see the ring on my finger, but lobola was actually successfully paid, so I'll just be coming to celebrate. All right, thank you, Mike.
Good day, bye-bye.
All right. Those have been our stories from Zambia. We're going to head to the weather predictions just before economic news.
To another exciting episode of Irongo Talk.
Het is weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik gaan byt.
Getting into our economic news, one of Africa's largest e-commerce platforms, Jumia Technologies, will reportedly cease its food delivery operations across 7 markets by the end of this month. Reuters reported on Wednesday that the company will instead focus on growing its core online retail business. Jumia Food represented about 11% of Jumia's general merchandise value for the 9 months ended September 30. The food delivery service currently operates in Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, and Ivory Coast.
Moving over to East Africa, the cabinet has ordered a split of Kenya's electricity transmission system to ensure that a power failure in one part does not affect the whole country. This, the government said, would resolve the loss of bulk in the transmission line that results in nationwide blackouts. To address the overloading of transmission lines that cause blackouts, the cabinet resolved that the Bomark-Narok line would be constructed with 250 million euros from the African Development Bank. The transmission line, which was founded in 2016, has never been completed due to legal disputes.
All right, those have been our economic news stories. We're going to head to the indicators just before Ari Hohad brings you the sport.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment.
Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
as well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first. It's still Champions League action that continues, and it is to determine the top 16 that will go through to the next round of the Champions League. Latest game is unfortunately for English football. It is Newcastle United that's out of the Champions League, and they played at home against AC Milan and lost 2-1, so they out of that. They played in Group F, and it was a good start for Newcastle. Joelinton that scored in the 33rd minute, but then it was Pulisic in the 59th minute that scored for AC Milan, and it was Chukwueze that scored in the 84th minute for AC Milan to win that game. It is also PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, that is through to the last 16. They drew with Borussia Dortmund, and that score was 1-1. So what happened specifically with English football club, or English Premier League clubs playing in the Champions League? In Group A, it was Manchester United that finished last in that group. It was Bayern Munich and FC Copenhagen going through in Group A. Group B, it is Arsenal that topped the group. They through to the last 16 with PSV Eindhoven. Then in Group F that we just talked about, Newcastle out. They finished last in that group. And then it is in Group G, it is Manchester City also topping that group, and they through with RB Leipzig through to the last 16 of the English, or that is the Champions League. Moving on to cricket news, and one test match that started. It's Australia playing at home against Pakistan. That game is played in Perth. It was in the news because of controversy with David Warner being selected to play his last test in that test match, and got some criticism from Mitchell Johnson, a previous teammate of Warner, and that was in something that he wrote in newspapers, and he was criticizing the fact that Warner was selected because he was not in good form lately. Well, it was David Warner that proved everybody wrong. So the news from the first test in Perth is that David Warner scored 100 in the first innings. It was Australia that won the toss. They batted first. They're still batting on day 2. It was a good day 1 for them, but it was the news is that David Warner scored 100 runs. It was the opening partner of Warner, that is Usman Khawaja, that scored 41, and then South African born Marnus Labuschagne, or Marnus Labuschagne as they call him, he was out for 16 runs. And to conclude today's international sports news, it is golf news from the LIV Golf Tour, and it is a speculation that Tony Finau of the USA will join the LIV Tour. Seems not to be positive for LIV Tour. It was Tony Finau that indicated, or he showed his PGA, the United States PGA schedule for 2024. That was expected that he will also join LIV Golf. That was after Jon Rahm, that's currently number 3 in the world rankings. He joined LIV Golf, and he joined them for lots of money, more than $500 million US. So big payday for Jon Rahm to join. It is the chief executive of the LIV Golf, that is Greg Norman, that said that he expects a bit of a domino effect, that because Jon Rahm joined LIV Golf, other high-profile players will also do the same. At the moment, every player that plays with LIV Golf, they're not allowed to play on the PGA in America or on the DP World Tour in Europe, and they're also not eligible for world ranking points at the moment. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we'll talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Namibians are still safe.
Everywhere else, the Supreme Court said we are not going to rely on foreign judgments.
By all means, we try to not make journalists public figures, but at the end of the day, they are.
Very good evening. My name is Taiwan Jabela, your host.
With their Protestant offsprings.
But the implementation, like she's saying, is another thing.
Thank you for staying with Africa. Good morning throughout the broadcast. Let's get into the highlights. One person dies in Chimbombo bus accident, while 38 others have been admitted to hospitals, Zambia police say. Nacala mayor advisor placed under house arrest in Mozambique. South Africa seeks bids for 7,615 megawatts of new power generation. And Jumia to end food delivery across 7 markets.
And with that, we've come to the end of our show. Thank you for joining us all week and spending your morning with Africa Good Morning. From me, Glenn Rashipura.
And me, Ashwin Berry, Suraj Kanaka.